Divorce is the hardest thing I ever had to go through, but it's also the one thing that got me to wake up and start making changes in my life. It got me to reflect on who I was, where I was headed, who I wanted to become, where I wanted to go, and it forced me to start taking actions to rebuild. In this video, I want to go over why divorce was not just the ending, but the beginning of a new life. And if you're struggling or you feel lost after a breakup or a marriage that's collapsed, maybe this will help you see your story differently. If you're new to the channel, my name is Johnny Kenhammer. I help men who are going through a bad breakup or going through a divorce rebuild themselves, fix their lives, not only through dating, but through mindsets, through confidence, through finding purpose, through improving their lives. Because I've been there. I got divorced 7 years ago. I was 35, I was overweight, I was no social skills, no prospects, no horizons, just coasting and drifting through life. And now I've traveled the world. I've lived in some of the best cities in the US. I'm much more social, much more confident, but it didn't always start that way. When I was a kid, I was always the shy, quiet one. I could never speak my mind. I was always very much looking for validation and for approval. And if I felt like if I would say the wrong thing, people would not like me. I was always obsessed with popularity. Like I felt because I wasn't good looking according to the other kids, like I had glasses, I had bad haircuts, so I never felt like I fit in. So I never could socialize, I could never be myself. I always assumed that everything was based on looks. You know, if you watched TV shows back in the 90s, you always had the popular kids, they were always the good looking ones. They were always kind of assholes when you look back at it, but I always wanted to be like them. And because I didn't look like them, I didn't think I had any value. I would never tell girls that I liked them. You know, I had 6th grade, I remember there was a girl I liked, had her picture in my yearbook, I put a heart around it, but I could never tell her, I could never tell anybody, because I always thought the kids would laugh at me, like, why would Johnny get a girlfriend? He's a dork, I always felt like a loser, you know? And this continued all the way up through high school. No dates, I had a couple close friends. I wasn't popular by any means because I didn't really talk to anybody. And I wanted to fit in with a group of people. I wanted to be popular. So my solution was I will fit in, or I will become popular by being a rebel. I will smoke weed, I'll skip classes, I'll never really try, like I'll be the cool loser kid. And I don't know where I got that from. Maybe that's from movies. Maybe that's from just wanting to fit in with somebody, like just to be part of a group. So I would go to class, I'd grow my hair out long, I'd wear tie-dye shirts, I'd skip classes, I'd be drunk at parties, I'd be the guy who had weed for everybody. Like people would call me to give them weed. Like they weren't my friends, they just wanted weed from me. But I was fine with it because I was getting some attention. And I think I would have kept this up for a while had I not got arrested. I got arrested after I'd graduated high school. My friends and I thought it'd be a good idea to go into somebody's house and to take some stuff. And we got caught, we got arrested. That was another great thing that happened to me, honestly, because it got me to change my life again. It got me to reflect on where I was headed. I would have, had that not happened, I might have stayed in small town Wisconsin, still smoking weed, still being drunk, still going to the bars, just looking for some approval, looking for ways to get a girlfriend. I think most of the stuff I ever did was because I wanted women to like me. 3rd grade, I wanted girls to like me. 6th grade, I remember. High school, I always wanted girls to like me. My solutions were always self-destruction, self-sabotage. And once I got arrested, I had to go into the military. I had to go into the Air Force in order to get off probation. And I didn't really think too much about it. It just made sense, like, okay, I get off probation, I'll go into the military. My grandpa retired from the military, he loved it, said nothing but great things about it. So I ended up going there. That was one of the best things I ever did. Taught me some discipline. It started to build a little confidence in me. But because I was so ingrained with my personality, people saying I was just shy and quiet, or, I was just like my dad. I didn't actually realize that confidence and charisma and talking to people was a skill set. So I continued to be quiet in the military. I wouldn't stand up for myself. I performed well. I was in the honor guard. I got honor guard airman of the quarter. So I was doing some things well, but I also was always very much never trying to be my best, just still getting by. So this, from elementary school all the way up until the Air Force now, I remember I was always needing validation and I didn't try my hardest. And then, you know, at this time I'm pretty much desperate for a girlfriend. Everybody I know has already had girlfriends in their lives, women that like them, and because I didn't, I assumed that I had no value. Like, it's because I don't have a girlfriend that I'm a loser. So when a girl, my ex, we finally met, we hit it off pretty quick. But I always thought, like, okay, now I have a girlfriend. Now I'm no longer a loser. Like, I should be complete. I never really felt that way. Obviously, it's not how it's supposed to work, but because I was so desperate for validation and for acceptance, I ignored a lot of the red flags that we had early on in the relationship. I had plenty of them too. We were just young, and I think she wanted something special too. But, you know, so we got married very young. At this point, I had never worked on myself. Then I get married at 22. And because I was young and I had found the one, I also stopped kind of trying then too. Like, I was addicted to video games ever since I was a kid. We were in small town Missouri and then small town Wisconsin when we were moving around. And I was never interested in improving myself in any ways. So most of my time was spent playing video games, keeping to myself. It's just me and her together. We didn't have a lot of friends. We didn't ever travel. We didn't really go anywhere. We didn't do anything. It was very much go to work, come home, spend some time with each other. How's your day? And then you go do your thing. I'll go play my video games. And it caused a lot of problems in our relationship, of course. It also was more of a warning that, like, I'm a man, but I'm not even trying to improve myself ever. I come home, I go to work, I eat my garbage for breakfast, I eat my garbage for lunch, I eat my garbage for dinner, I come home, watch garbage TV, play video games that don't really contribute to my life, and then do it all over again. And so this continued for 13 years. It wasn't until my wife told me on her birthday in 2017 that it's over, she's moving on, she found somebody new. And that's when it, like, my world literally just shattered. Like, oh fuck, okay. So she's leaving me, I have no options. I don't know what the fuck to do. She came home in the middle of the night, told me that she was leaving, she's gonna get together with whoever. But it was in the middle of the night, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't process this. I was very upset, very angry. And I went down to the basement that night and started working out. I started working out immediately because it hit me that I'm not gonna be able to attract somebody new in my life looking like I did. I was overweight, probably 50 pounds heavier than I am now. But it immediately sunk in that I need to do something if I'm going to ever attract a new mate. I don't know if that's the first thing that should have came to my mind. Maybe I should have been more upset. Maybe I should have, maybe I should have broke down crying. I don't know. But my immediate thoughts were, hold on, it's getting a little loud here. My immediate thoughts were, fuck, okay, I gotta start doing something. I gotta work out. I gotta start losing weight. And I think a lot of that is because, you know, married 13 years, there's plenty of times where we should have broken up. We didn't. We work it out. It's kind of okay for a while. Both of us are still kind of happy, but there's plenty of times where we should have broke up. If I had stronger boundaries, I would have ended it. But I didn't. And so when this happened, I think that was the wake-up call, like, okay, this is it, this is over, I gotta start working out. But then, the next coming days after that, it starts to really hit me that I don't have I don't really have options. Like, I don't want to lose her. She's supposed to be my soulmate. She's supposed to be the one. So now I'm thinking, like, what can I do to get her back? So I start sending these text messages like, oh, don't you remember the good times we had? Writing all these notes out about our first dates and all this stuff. And really just doing everything I could to get her back. Which when I look back at it now, it's like, if I had a strong boundary, it would have just been over and I would have been done with it. Yeah, it fucking sucks, but like David Goggins says, fuck you, you made your decision. You don't want me anymore. That's fine. And eventually I did come to that conclusion, but looking back, it's just, I don't like that I was willing to take her back. If I had taken her back, she would have just lost respect for me because, you know, I just cheated on you and now you're gonna take me back? Like, what kind of man are you? It just shows that I had no standards, you know? But yeah, so the few months after she told me it was over, you know, I worked out for a little bit just that night because I knew I had to do something. But then that pain sunk in and I was just thinking like, fuck, I'm 35, I'm overweight, I'm in Wisconsin, I got nothing going on for me. The odds of me finding somebody new here are very low, especially somebody that's attractive. So I'm just doing everything I can to get her back. And nothing's working, obviously. I even helped her move her stuff to her new apartment, thinking, well, it's not that big a deal. I'm not doing anything. I'll just help you move your stuff. Maybe you'll see how great of a guy I am. And eventually you'll want to come back. So this continued for about 3 months. And then I moved to Boston. I started waking up. I started realizing that this shit, I don't want her back. I actually do like being single. There was a lot of issues with our relationship. I started doing these, I made the workbook, the other video, if you saw that. I made the workbook video, or I did a workbook similar to this, and I started to realize what I actually wanted in life. Like, I wanted women in my life. I wanted attractive women in my life. And in order to do that, I was gonna have to change. I cannot be the shy, quiet kid just going to a bar and sitting in a corner. Like, that's never gonna work. I can't be the guy who's 225 pounds, trying to get on dating apps, trying to get 9s and 10s. It's not gonna work. It's just, yeah, it's not the guy I wanna be. It's not the guy that is gonna get the quality of girls that I want. So I started learning about improving your charisma, improving your sex life, improving your social skills. It's something that I'd never even considered to be possible until, you know, I think it was like a year before we got divorced. We had gone through, we had a fight, and I was just searching the internet, like, how can I be more social? And then I started to realize this, and I started to become more social, but it started to cause friction because then she would get jealous. So then I reverted back to my old behaviors because I didn't want to make waves. But then I started to go back to that, like, okay, so I can learn this. This is a skill set. I don't have to be the quiet kid. I can improve. And then, you know, after doing that, slowly but surely, you start to see, okay, this shit does work. I am becoming more confident. I am becoming more social. I can actually express myself. I don't have to limit my expression. I don't have to limit myself so that I don't outshine others. That was another thing I was always worried about, was outshining people. So once she left, I got over all the bullshit, writing the texts and the letters. I started realizing that, okay, yes, I can improve. This is no longer the worst thing that's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna actually make this the best thing that happened to me. I'm gonna make her look back at me in a few years or whatever, when she's with her new guy, and I'm gonna make her jealous of all the stuff that I've done. So one of the things that I did do, I don't know if it's petty or not, but I ended up going to London with my buddy because I knew she had always wanted to go there and he could get cheap tickets, and we went. And it was a lot of fun. I loved doing it. But one of the reasons that I did do it was to kind of, you know, make her a little upset that she left me. And I don't know I don't know if that's a bad thing to do, but it really did get me started on more self-improvement. Like, I realized traveling was fun. I met girls from other cultures. I was being social and free. I didn't have to, go to the same small town bars in Wisconsin. And it got me that mindset of, okay, I can start to really see where my life could go if I start taking the right steps. If I start making this a reality, not just wishing, okay, yeah, I wish I was more social. I wish I was getting more attractive women in my life. I could actually see that when I start making these changes, it is possible. So I moved to Boston. I have some good interactions there. I'm there for about 6 months. I like it, it's fun. I met Tom Kenny, who does the voice of SpongeBob, if you've ever seen that. Mr. Show he's into, that's great. I'm gonna go this way. And I met some good friends there and decided that, yes, Boston is good, but I'm still struggling with dating. Like, I'm still needy. I'm still not the guy I wanna be. And I don't know why, but we decided to move to Vegas. I kind of grew up in Vegas. I have family out there. So I knew the area, and I really loved the desert heat. So we moved out there, and that's when my social skills really started to improve. Like, I started to really be able to express myself. I was freshly out of a divorce, so I wasn't really working. I was just kind of out there trying to improve myself through social skills. But it ended up being a huge effect on me. It got me to meet high-value friends, and it started to get me to just be more comfortable around women, to go on dates. This led me into going down to Mexico, same kind of thing. Like, I started to really just focus on how great it was to be single again. Like, I don't even really worry about what my ex is doing now, because I've already been living a life of abundance. I've made plenty of good friends now. I've had wonderful relationships, and it's something that I never would have thought was possible when I first got divorced. Like I said, when I first got divorced, it was all about trying to get her back. Trying to get her back through kind of like manipulation too. Like, if you look at it, it really was manipulation. Like, don't you remember the good times we had? Don't you remember when I did this for you? Aren't you gonna miss me? Like, stuff like that. And it's very simpish. It's not gonna get her back. It's actually probably the worst thing you can do. And maybe it was for the best, because, I actually didn't want her back. When you look back at it, it's like, why would you take back somebody who did that to you? So if you're going through this now, look back. Did she have some things that were deal breakers for you, but you just put up with? Did she, in my case, she literally left me for another guy. Like, why would I take her back after that? That's crazy for me to think about that now. But the reason I was thinking that was because I knew I didn't have options the way I was. If I was gonna stay the way I was, 225 pounds, addicted to video games, like, I'm not gonna attract anybody better, so of course I'm gonna be upset when she leaves. Of course I'm gonna do everything to get her back. That's the one option I have. But when you realize that, okay, yep, she left. That sucks, it hurts, but this is my wake-up call. I can now become a much better version of myself. I can now take the right steps. I can live a life that I want. You just have to envision what that's gonna be. You have to really figure out what you want in life. Where do you wanna go? Where do you wanna be? I think without divorce, I don't know where I would have been. I don't know if we'd even have kids by now. We were married 13 years, never really talked about kids, never discussed kids. I don't know if that's because, I don't know if that's because we were just, married in the Air Force, didn't want kids. Then we're in school, didn't want kids. Then we're just starting our career, didn't want kids. But I think a lot of it just comes down to, we both probably knew that, it wasn't the healthiest relationship. We were both very young when we got married. We probably just weren't the right people. There were a lot of red flags for both of us. I think we kind of recognized that. But yeah, so the whole point of this video, I guess, is just to get you to realize that divorce, breakup, it really can be the best thing that happens to you. Just look back and ask yourself, was this person really the perfect person for you? And if they were, then what were some things that led to the downfall? Were there things that you could have done to improve? Were there things that you could have done to improve the relationship? It's hard to say. It's stuff you got to reflect on and figure out. But I know for me, this was not the best relationship. There's a lot of things I was not happy with. Had I have known the life I could leave, had I got out of that relationship, I would have traded that immediately. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, that sounds awesome. I can go live in Barcelona. I can go live in Mexico. I can get out of small town Wisconsin from a girl that guilt trips me and plays the victim with everything. Yeah, sign me up for that. I'm in. So yeah, you can definitely make improvements, make changes. Fill out that workbook if you're struggling right now and you don't really know where you want to go. Oh, this is a dead end. If you don't know where you want to go, this is what helped me start to realize that where I was not where I wanted to be. I was still, at 35, I was still antisocial. I had no social skills. I had no girls possible in my life. I was overweight. I couldn't stop playing video games. And like looking at me now, it's like, oh, that's crazy. I would never want to be that guy again. I can now, it's not like you're just able to socialize with anybody, but I can express myself. I can have conversations with people. I can go out and meet beautiful women. I can travel the world now. Like these are all things that I never dreamt were possible until I filled out this kind of workbook just to see if I start taking the right steps, where could I go? So hopefully that helps you. If you're struggling through a breakup, divorce, just know that, yeah, it does suck. But if it's like my situation and she left you, you know, you got to tell her to fuck you. Sorry, but she decided she's done with you. You got to move on. There's no way you're going to get her back unless you improve yourself. And if you still want her back after you make all these changes, then that's great. But more than likely, if you're not able to make these changes, to move on, the relationship would never work even if she came back. So that's just my thoughts on it. I guess I'll leave it there. That's just how divorce helped me through everything, though. It got me to really just realize that I could change. That was the major breakthrough, was just the awareness that I could change. My entire life, I felt like I was stuck with the identity that other people gave me. Everyone told me I was ugly. They told me I was the quiet kid. They told me, you know, I'm a loser, basically because I'm smoking pot all the time. But like I never felt accepted. I never felt worthy. And once I got divorced, it really got me to start researching and to realize that that's just what other people tell you. That's not reality. And you can start building confidence through taking the right actions. So that's what I started to do. I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'm gonna go walk home, edit the rest of this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you guys if you are struggling or if you feel lost. I know it's a tough time. It's gonna be on your mind a lot. So hopefully these videos help you. Hopefully you can start taking the right steps to make changes. If you're interested, I'm offering a free one-on-one coaching call just so I can help you guys out, help me out. It's a win-win for everybody. Kind of help you get on the right path so that you can start making the right changes. You can identify where you want to go. That's the benefits of like a mastermind. It's the benefits of doing like one-on-one coaching, getting mentorship. Getting mentorship was huge for me. It's got me to speed up my development much faster. I didn't want to start, learning to date when I was 40. I got divorced at 35. I didn't want to figure it all out on my own. I wanted to get this shit figured out quick so I could start living the life that I wanted. So get mentorship in any areas that you're struggling with or that you want to learn from. Don't waste time. Speed this shit up. If you want any one-on-one coaching, you can comment here or join the Skool group and just message me. We can do a one-on-one hour-long session, give you some guidance on where you want to go, where you want to be, what kind of women you want to date. Awareness is the first step. So I'll leave it there. Off to the gym, edit, get some dinner, and we'll see you later.